ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् Now, last time we did the wheel of action, and the wheel of action, I told you that the entire nature is in a pattern of giving. So they take and they give. So the more you put in effort with nature, the more the nature will reward you. So this is a plan under which everybody is. It is a law, and everyone is in that law, except human beings who are given the choice of effort. However much effort they put in, that much of reward they will get. So this is what we had done last time. Now, एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयतीह यः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मूघं पार्थ स जीवति. This is verse 16, and it says, he who does not follow here the wheel. The wheel means the wheel of action, chakra. He says, yeah, na, pravartitam chakra, the wheel of action. So follow here the wheel, thus set revolving. Revolving by whom? Obviously by the creator himself. You and I cannot. So who is of sinful life, rejoicing in the senses, he lives in vain, O son of Pritha. Son of Pritha, he calls him Parthan. So, son of Pritha, and he says that he who does not follow this chakra, that means chakra what? Of give and take. The chakra of putting in effort and getting the reward, of energizing potential to give you boons, to give you the results. Those who do not follow this, he says they are sinful. He calls them, see, agha is sin. So he says, aghayu, living in sin. And he says, aghayu, and rejoicing in the senses. He says, he lives in vain. Now, I must say this to you, Gurudev used to say this again and again and again. He used to say that if any day, even one day passes when you have not done any service to the society, selfless service from which you are gaining nothing, and then you have been a weight on this earth. And he is repeating the same thing here. Krishna is saying that he lives a sinful life and that he lives in vain. So that one day goes waste of yours. You are a weight on the earth. You have not given back, you have only taken, because all of us take. Now, O son of Pritha, he says. Now he says, see, that all the creatures, the dumb creatures who cannot speak, they do not have freedom of action. They will give to society in any form. Animals give with their own meat, they give with their own skin, they give with their own milk, with everything they are supplying society. And what is human being doing? How is human being benefiting the world? We are snatchers from the world. We are takers from the, we take from animals, plants, forests, earth, everywhere. And so it is, we have to ask this question, that what are we giving to society? Now, see, but many of us don't give at all. And that is the reason that you have these cycles in human history. There is a golden age and then there is a dark age. There is a golden age and a dark age. So when society, when people, individuals in society are very ready to give to the society, it becomes a golden era, of social life, cultural life, where everybody benefits, everybody profits. Arts and literature thrive, and pure arts thrive, uh, all that. But then dark ages also come, and those dark ages are full of, Gurudev used to say, wars, pestilence, disease, turmoil, famines, floods. This sounds very familiar, doesn't it? All these things are here today. What with the COVID 19? What with the floods everywhere, earthquakes everywhere, restlessness, revolts everywhere, whether it's Hong Kong, or it's India, or it is America, or it is Europe, anywhere, there are revolts. You have pictures of revolt, whether it is Middle East. So there is restlessness. So we are going through a kind of a dark age, for the simple reason that we do not faithfully obey this law of the chakra, the wheel of give and take. That is what we are not doing. Now, see, people have this lame excuse. When you talk to them, they have this lame excuse that, see, even if I do the right thing, how does it matter? It is a drop in the ocean. It's not going to work out anyway. Now the thing is that, see, the world will still go on as it is. So others are doing wrong, so I should also do wrong. That is the argument that comes from many people. Please understand, individual is only one unit of the whole fabric. Now, have you seen a piece of cloth? If you rip up one thread from that cloth, what happens? Slowly, the surrounding threads get loosened up. And when they get loosened up, the entire fabric starts to disintegrate and goes apart. First, there'll be a small hole, small chink, and that hole itself will become the locus for things to spread. And all the fabric gets loosened up. So this entire fabric, where some people go over and some under, just like threads in a fabric, society is an interconnected thread. All human beings are responsible for what happens to society, each individual. And therefore, you will also notice, don't ever think that what can I alone do? How does the world benefit just from me if I do the right thing? There was a Gandhi, wasn't there? He was alone. And look what he achieved. There was one Jesus, only one Jesus. He did not tire of doing good. And look what he achieved. So each one of us has a duty to give to the world, and whatever happens, slowly it gathers momentum, and the entire society comes up. And there is a strength of structure in the society which comes from each individual. Now just see, I'm giving you the example of a building. A building has got the strength from so many concrete pillars that are put in the basement, in the what shall I say, not basement, in the foundation of the building. And which beam goes from where and what beam goes from where, that is the structure, right? Now if you loosen out one pillar somewhere, haven't you heard, when you want to make alterations in the building, haven't you heard the architects or the structural engineers tell you that if you remove this, the roof will collapse? If you remove this, it'll affect other beams also, isn't it? The same happens in a society. It is a structured unit, and each individual matters. So when you do something wrong, it has a rippling effect everywhere. When you do something right, that also has a rippling effect everywhere. So just as the when, as a human being, as one person, you cannot see the good of your action, similarly you are not able to see the bad of your one action that you do, but it will It is only through cooperative effort, and that cooperative effort has to be done by everybody, not by what Gurudev used to call Indriya Ramo. ये यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है ना, second line see, Indriya Ramo. Indriya Ramo means one who is a slave to his senses, who indulges only in his senses and keeps toiling under the misconception that I am the body. So if he thinks he is the body, then his whole focus is only satisfying bodily hungers. And then he goes about running about all over the place. I want to beautify myself. I want to fatten my body. I want to polish my body. You can do what you like to the body. The body is going to kick you. The body will. So make it worthwhile. Make it useful. Make it useful to the society. That is what Krishna is over here saying. Now the question that is being asked is that is action only meant for those who are in rajas? Rajas means full of action, wanting this, wanting that, desiring this, desiring that. So should only those people act? And when somebody reaches sattva, the purity, the rarefied purity of sattva, is it so that that man does not need to act at all? The answer is in the next verse. यस्त्वात्मतिरेव स्याद् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते. This is an interesting thing which you have to see the logic of it. I am reading the translation. But the man who rejoices only in the self, that is the realized master, please understand. But the man who rejoices only in the self, who is satisfied with the self, and who is content in the self alone, for him, verily, there is nothing more to do. Oh, you say, oh. So after that, he becomes a stone. I don't want to become such a stone. And why should I become such a person who does not have anything to do thereafter? That means I just sit and eat and sleep. See, one thing, when there is no rationale given to a law, it is not a law, it is a tyranny. Hinduism does not believe in tyrannizing and commanding or giving out orders that you must do this and you must do that without giving the reason. In Hinduism or in all our scriptural texts, everybody asks, why, sir, do you say this? And why should I do it? Now, with this kind of a statement that for this person is an exception, and then he doesn't need to do anything anymore. Immediately the student will feel, I don't want to become such a person. I don't want to become a stone. And so what is the answer to this? Why does he say something like this? Now, see, most of us live in body consciousness, I, and I. And we always, when you say the body is limited. The mind is limited. The hungers of the mind are limited. So you always want more and more and more fulfillment. To gain that fulfillment, you need to work more and more. You need to engage yourself. Unless you put in effort, you cannot get any of those things that you desire. So you need to work, for sure you need to work. But then why does he not need to work? He is a perfected one and he has purified himself to such an extent where his satisfaction and contentment is beyond the body and the mind. He does not want anything from society. We all cannot live with a society, none of us. You and I, every single day, we want this and we want that from the society. This man has no hungers. He does not keep collecting in terms of happiness or fulfillment things from the world. He does not feel hungry on an intellectual level, emotional level, or physical level. These are the three levels of the human personality where we experience wants, where we want this and we want that, right? This person has gone beyond these. Now, only he who wants from the world has to put an effort for the world. But if you don't want anything from there, then you do not need to put in effort because you are already fulfilled. You are already feeling very, very full. And therefore, you are in a perfect realm of the spirit, which feels completely satisfied, which feels totally fulfilled. When your stomach is full, okay, very full, do you run after food? No. Even if somebody is offering it to you, it is a pain to you. You say, just take it away from me. I don't even want to see, I don't even want to look at food, isn't it? The same is over here. See, you cannot force a father to play with marbles. The same example I keep giving you to show you that he has gone beyond it. His satisfaction level does not hunger for marbles. The woman, grown up woman, does not want to play with a doll. If she doesn't want to play with the doll, should she put in effort for the doll to find out where a doll she can get from? No, she doesn't have to. She doesn't need to. So here is a perfectly satisfied, contented human being. And that kind of human being is living in a very, very blissful, very, very joyful world of his own, where he experiences no need. And that is the reason he does not need to put in effort. Right? But now, with this, we come to the next verse, that thereafter, so then this person is thereafter free to act or not to act. It is his choice. You see so many realized masters acting in the world outside, but it is not because they want something or they need something. They are acting for the benefit of society. And Gurudev said that many, many times, that any sankalpa that comes from such a man is the sankalpa of the Lord. He is like a flute. The flute is empty from inside, and it is only the breath of the Lord that plays through the flute, and beautiful music comes out. So the flute is not playing for himself. The flute is giving music to the world because he is empty inside. He neither wants anything, needs anything, nor he is interested in giving out anything. He is hollow. And the music of the Lord, through the breath of the Lord, runs through him. This is this realized master who, having reached that place, does neither need to do anything nor doesn't need. So whatever the Lord wills him to do will come through him as a action. Now we come to the next verse. नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिद् अर्थव्यपाश्रयः. Translation: for him there is here no interest whatsoever in what is done or what is not done. Nor does he depend upon any being for any object. We are dependent on not one person, mind you. We are dependent on so many people and so many things for our happiness, aren't we? All the time looking, all the time running about. If I go here, I will get happiness. If I eat this, I will get happiness. If I wear this, I'll get happiness. So we are constantly in dependence of objects, situations, people, places, and so many other things. Right? Going for a movie, ran for a movie. They found out house is full, no tickets. You and I will be very disappointed. Not this man. He neither needed the tickets nor he wanted to see the movie. He was going along with the family because the family wanted it. And he is happy. If we got the tickets, he is happy. Never got the tickets, so also he is happy. It does not make a little bit of even a dent in it. So whatever is done or not done doesn't affect him, because see, he is not even conscious of the BMI, body, mind, and intellect. Okay. So Gurudev used to call it BMI, so it just comes to my mind. He is not even conscious of the body, mind, and intellect. Leave aside enjoying food or clothes or anything. He is totally above that. He is totally merged in the higher self. And in that higher self, whatever happens or doesn't happen, it doesn't matter to him. He is in a different level of consciousness, the fourth level of consciousness, which is known in our Upanishads, Mandukya Upanishad especially, as Turiya Avastha. Just like these three we know, हाँ हमको तो तीन मालूम है ना, waking, dream and deep sleep. The fourth, there is a fourth level also, and that fourth level is the Turiya Avastha, to which he has woken up. Now, in that Avastha, what happens or doesn't happen doesn't affect him. He is so blissful. Like, I'll give an example. If a person is in deep sleep and a thief comes, will that person get up and start beating him? He will not. He doesn't even know that a thief is there. He is not even conscious that a thief is there, because he is not present there. He is in a different world. Lok alag hai uska. World alag hai. We call it lok because everybody is in his own world. In Hindi, we have the word lok. Everybody's lok is different. A doctor's world is different from that of an engineer. An engineer's world is different from that of a businessman, isn't it? A child's world is different from a grown up human being. So we call it loka, and one person does not have entry into the other person's world, right? So here you have this, that he is in a totally different world, and only for that moment when he is one with the creator, he is one with the supreme truth, only for that moment he has no duties and he does not indulge in any activities. But after he comes out of that state, he is not in that state constantly. So when he comes out of that state as a human being, when he has to eat food and he needs clothes to wear, he has duties. That even the realized master has duties, and he works for the welfare of the society in which he breathes and in which he needs to eat food. So he works for that. And here, see, I'll read it again. For him, there is here no interest whatsoever in the work done or that which is not done, nor does he depend upon any being for any object. Hmm? So he is in the service of the society, and everyone must be in the service of the society. When he is in, when he is totally contented in the, in his own world of Turiya Avastha, at that time he needs no gain, he needs no loss, he needs no human being, he has no dependence on any being or any object for his satisfaction. Next verse. Now, तस्मादसक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः. He says, I'll read the translation. Therefore, do you always, without attachment, perform action which should be done, for by performing action without attachment, man reaches the supreme. Now, this verse is for us, for people like you and me. Gita does not excuse action, non-action. Yes, sorry. Gita does not excuse non-action for anybody in the world excepting the realized master. Here he says, look what he says. Therefore, do you always without attachment. Don't miss the word always. You have to always, satatam. He says satatam means always. Always without attachment, perform action. This is also important. Perform action, but without attachment. This is the trick of the Gita. This is the art that the Gita teaches. You have it so many times, more than 80 times or so in the Gita. Asanga, asanga, asanga. Asanga means non attachment. So it is advised, action is always advised, which should be done, for by performing action without attachment, man reaches the supreme. See, what does it mean without attachment? Without attachment means I am not hung up on the result of the action. Whether the action is successful or the action is not successful, he is not attached to that result. So, without attachment, when you act, you are doing service. But if there is even a little bit of attachment, that even I gain satisfaction from what I'm doing, even that is attachment. And people are attached to little, little. I did so much of work. Mera to kahin naam hi nahi. Means even my name was not mentioned. It was never mentioned in the meeting that I did this for all the other members to hear. Why was it not? This is attachment. Attachment. So maybe you are not gaining monetarily from that action. Maybe you are not seeking anything else from the action, but you are seeking recognition, isn't it? You are seeking some kind of applause, isn't it? That is also attachment. That means you have done that service to gain something for yourself. Now, that is not called service. It is absolutely not called service. Service is that where you give a wholehearted support, you give your everything, and with full determination, you work for the welfare of others. That is what is service. That is what he calls without attachment. And any action can be, even a mother teaching her son for the exams, helping, all mothers do, all fathers do, when they are teaching their son to get more marks in the exam. Even that has to be done without attachment. You are helping your child, yes, fine, so far so good. But if you are pressurizing him that he must get these marks, otherwise, that is a threat. That otherwise is a threat on the child. And you are using that threat to fulfill your desire of him getting more marks, isn't it? So you are so attached to what you are doing and the result of it, that you make even that poor child miserable. And many children break down under that stress that you are. So here, see, he says that without attachment, man reaches the supreme. So there is a great logic explained over here, where Arjuna has to take part, and he has to take part. But even Arjuna does not take commandments lying down. There is a question asked always. There is a question on the face. Why should I act? The realized master is excused from acting. Why should I act? Huh? So, because see, Hinduism never forces its opinion on anybody. Even in the Gita, right at the end of the Gita, the Lord says, I have told you whatever I wanted to. Now you are free to choose to do whatever you wish. You want to fight the war, fight. You don't want to fight the war, don't fight. So it is not a commandment, understand, right? So always the student uh, of the scriptures is allowed to ask why. He is allowed to ask, why should I do this, right? So Vedanta is not a technique of conversion. Vedanta is not a technique of forcing his opinion, or forcing the religion, or forcing the philosophy on anybody. And here it says, dekho, it says over here, tasmat. Tasmat means therefore. That means the logic is given to you, only then you can say therefore. So the logic is given that why you should perform an action, and because it is obligatory on your part. You cannot just be a consumer. You have to be a contributor to society. You must ask yourself this question every day. What have I contributed? And see, a lot of people tell me, oh, I serve the family, I work so hard for the family. That is not contribution, that is your family. You are working for yourself. If you're doing housework, you are doing it for your house. This is, when very clear terms, selfless giving to the society in which you live. And what is that selfless giving? Okay. Now see, in your present status, in your present society, wherever you are, you must work for the benefit of just those people that are around you, in whichever country you are. See, in the Chinmay Mission pledge, it is the service of my country is the service of the Lord. Now, people ask that, oh, I am an Indian, is my country India, or is my country America? They're living in America. No, you serve the Americans in America. You serve the society wherever you are living. The people around you is your country, is the society which you should serve. And of course, you owe it to your mother country also. So, whatever way you can help the mother country, fine. But here, people ask this question, that is why I am answering it. But the action has to be done. That, see, he's pointing out the danger over here. You have to keep your mind away from dangerous attachments, because if you don't do that, your mind will never get purified. Your mind will never get rarefied to reach this where you were supposed to reach. You will never reach here if you go on doing action with attachment, which all of us do. Every day we do. So here is a warning by Krishna, that keep your mind away from dangerous attachments. He says without attachment, it is only then, when there are no attachments, that a man can reach the supreme. And he gathers, if you do not do it without attachment, you will gather more and more desires. Because whatever action you do with attachment, you always, even before that desire is fulfilled, you see another and another and another towards which you aspire. Son got beautiful marks. First, that was the desire. Now he got very good marks to go into the best university in the world where he can choose. Next desire crops up, isn't it? How well is he doing that? Or has he got admission or not? That is the next desire. After that desire comes the desire, oh, has he got the country of his choice or not? Next desire, has he got the job of his choice or not? You are even, leave alone your desires, aapke to hain, but you are even desirous of your child, because it is my child, my daughter, my son, my grandchild. It never stops, it never ends, and you go on and on and on. This house, now this is a rented house. Okay, now a house of my own. When a house of my own, I want a better house. A better house, then I want a bigger house. Then bigger house, I want a palace. It never ends. It never ends. So he says this is the danger part of action. He is warning you that don't perform action with attachment. Wherever you are placed, whatever the Lord has given you is the natural order of things which you deserve, where you deserve to be. that is your family. Where you deserve to be, that is your place of worship, that is your place of service, and that is where you have to do all your action. Now, such a person, who does work without action, he goes beyond desiring objects, he goes beyond attachment for with emotions, and he goes beyond attachment to intellectual ideas which he hangs on to. Have you seen all the TV debates today? They are all arguing to safeguard what they think is right. We are so full of the self all the time that what I think, what I know is the right thing. And all the fights in the world take place because of this clinging to your own idea of right or wrong. Leave aside on the television or political ideas or theological ideas or ethical ideas, even ideas of generations, isn't it? The father and son argument, why does it take place? Because the father's ideas he thinks are old, and the father thinks that if it was good enough for me and I could do it, why can't he? So what is the tussle? The tussle is the hanging on to an intellectual idea, both the people, the son and the father. That is the tussle. And no one wants to give up because you are so full of I. You're so full of me, me. And because of that me, you are attached to that, clinging to that intellectual idea that this is good for my son, he must do this. And the son thinks, no, daddy doesn't understand. This is good for me and I should do this. Right? So both are clinging to intellectual ideas. Right? So this person, he goes beyond these. He has given up. A man who is perfectly contented in himself has given it all up. And the it is like a chewed cud, that he has had enough of it and he has spit it out. So whether it happens or it doesn't happen, whether the other person is convinced or not convinced, whether the other person listens to him or doesn't listen to him, he is beyond that. So his smile is never wiped off his face. He will still be smiling. He will still be happy no matter what it is. And the person who has spat out a cud, chewed cud, is never going to pick it up and put it back in his mouth. It is like that. So, the human being who is totally contented, he rises above attachment to action. He no longer cares to be attached to any action. He performs action but is beyond action. So, that much for today. ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्।